Welcome to Wednesday's Math. Today we're going to get started in 12-6, which is on page 723. So go ahead and get there, 723 in your math book. And the reason we're skipping 12-5 is because 12-6 kind of has both in it. So we're just going to hit 12-6 and you're going to play around with these centimeters and meters. So you were using a different ruler before. So if you notice inside your math folder, I've put access to two rulers. One of them was for inches, but the other is for centimeters. So you'll need the centimeters ruler for this one. So if you haven't already printed it, go ahead and do that and cut it out so that you're ready. You could always pause the video and come back to it. If you have a ruler at home, it might have inches on one side and centimeters on the other if you're lucky. So check and see if you have both measurements. Remember that I told you that there are only 3 countries in the whole world that use the standard form, and so this is the metric form now, and the metric form is used everywhere else in the world. So you were supposed to find out which 2 other countries besides the United States is one, there are 2 other countries that use the same measurement system. It's called the standard measurement or the imperial system of management. So if you find that out, let me know. It's a little piece of trivia. I find it fascinating. So we are in 12-6 centimeters and meters, and in here you're going to do more estimating, you're going to do some measuring, and then you're going to say what you use for a tool. So there's some different tools that you can use when you are measuring things that are of different sizes. Okay, if you were going to measure the door frame of the door that is entering into whatever room you're in, just take a peek for a minute. Now I have my eyes dead on the door and I'm looking at that frame and I'm trying to think of what I would use to measure it. So if I look at 724, it says you can use a ruler or a meter stick to measure length. 1 meter is 100 centimeters long. You might also have a meter stick at your house. And then it shows you that a button is about 1 centimeter long. It says a table is about 1 meter long. And it says you can also use a measuring tape to measure centimeters and meters. Now I know a bunch of you have them because I saw them one day. We had a meet and I can't remember why I saw them, but I did. Many of you have measuring tapes. So that would also be a good tool. And it's good to know what these different tools are used for and how they are used, because when you go to page 725, you get to tell the tool that you actually use to measure these things. And it has an eraser, it has a window, a pen, and a desk. If you use some of the examples that they've already given you, it might be a little bit easier, and you might have some objects in your house where you could actually measure them and see what they are. That's what's in that lesson. If you go to 12-8, so did you notice we skipped 12-7? Skip it. Go to 12-8. Comparing lengths. This is the one that it may be a little more challenging. In order to measure some of these things, are you on 735? Go to 735 and look. It says circle 2 paths, estimate which one is longer. How can you check if your estimate is correct? Oh wait, did you hear me say those 2 words differently? Did you hear it? Listen, estimate which one is longer. How can you check if your estimate is correct? So that is a funny word. When you use it in this way, estimate, it has the long A sound, and it looks like it should anyway. I know you phonics kids know that. But when I said it was an estimate, it makes it sound different, does it? Don't get messed up with that word and don't worry about it. I just wondered if some of you listened really closely. Anyway, we have some examples here. How would we measure these things? They are not straight lines. What do you think? What would you do? If I gave you something to measure that looked like this, I just bent my ruler, didn't I? It was only paper, it's okay. Okay, so what you would have to do is you would have to measure this, and then you would have to measure the other side, and you would have to add the two together. Aren't you glad I made you practice your addition facts? Because now you need them. So, you don't want to just eyeball this. You can make an estimate, or you can estimate, but then you actually need to measure it. So you need to be able to use a tool and add the two lengths together to come up with how much it is, okay? Another way that you can estimate and measure the length of something when it's not straight, if it's curvy, you could take a piece of string or yarn and you can match it up with that shape and then stretch out your yarn or your string and measure that. That would be really fun. Okay, so you are going through 12.6 and 12.8. Don't do every problem. Have your parents check your work. And I will see you tomorrow.